Okay, so I want to invite my friend Lia to come up, and she's going to give you a little update on what's going on. I don't know if you noticed today there was actually a Texan. How many people know what the Texan? There's really 2 or 3 conservative, statewide type periodicals that you can kind of look at, and a lot of folks ask, how can I get my news in Texas? And it's tough. I mean, you can watch the news, you can try to read the paper, but there's really not a lot of good source about what's going on in the legislature, what's going on at the state level. So the 2 that I recommend, and again, you can make your own decisions. Some of them might have a slant, but that's okay because at least you know where now to get some information. If you know that something's been voted on, you can pick up on that. And I think that the 2 that I would recommend is the Texan.news, run by Connie Burton out of Tarrant County, former senator, and Texas Scorecard. But the Texan wrote an article about what's going on with the Decatur Library. And so that's pretty eye-opening. And so Leah's going to share a little bit more information and give us an update on that.
Okay, so I wish I had a better update, but I do want to make you aware of a few things that happened since I last spoke to y'all. So thank you all for the forms that you turned in. We had a few hundred that were turned into the library, so that was very significant, so thank you. I had come across one more book, and a hunch just thought, I need to go see if this is at the library. And sure enough, this book was at the library. I think my face must be on a wanted poster there because the librarians beelined for me as soon as I walked in. So I walked in, and the head librarian was right there. What you doing, Leah? I said, well, I'm just unfortunately having to check out another book. And so I took her to the section, and the book is called Let's Talk About It, A Teen's Guide to Sex. And the head librarian, had not seen this book, and so I'm opening it real time in front of her, and the images were horrific. I thought the other 2 books were bad. This one took the cake. There's a couple concerning things that I want to point out that were in this material, and again, this is marketed towards, this would be the age group of 10 to 17. And I know that there's some young people in the room, so I'm going to kind of keep myself edited. I'm going to skip that one. Okay, so a couple things. It talks about pornography. It says, make sure that you know a great place to research fantasies and kinks safely is on the internet. There's tons of people and communities who could be your new friend who will share with you your interests and have all kinds of advice on sexual positions. And again, this is a book for children. When consumed right, porn can help you discover new aspects of your sexuality. And then this says, look up interviews with your favorite porn performers. Go to the sites that they recommend, and you can even pay for your porn. So there's a couple things alarming. Obviously, as a parent, I don't want my child communicating with a stranger online about sex. I want to be having those conversations with my children. So this book was horrific. So long story short, I looked at Dawn and said, I'm ready. You want me to go get another 100 forms? Because I will. And she was kind of horrified at the books that I had in front of her, and she said, no, just fill out 1 form. 1 form will be enough. Well, no. I wish it was good. So she asked me not to blow it up because I was ready to blow it up to y'all and send it. So I sent it to a few people, did the form, and then I got a phone call last week. So we're talking about 3 books. There was the Flamer book, there was Let's Talk About It, and then there was the original one that the mom had found. And so she goes through the books, and she said, we have determined, so she put together a board. There were 3 people on the board. The 2 that were on the board, if you go to the Decatur Public website, they have their pronouns listed, so we already know how this is going to go. So they determined that Flamer was appropriate, even though it's absolutely degrading towards Roman Catholics and a whole other slew of things. And then the second book, the one that I took most issue with, the one I shared with you, they determined that it actually needed to be moved. It was in the adult section, but it needed to be moved back to the teen section. And then the third book, the original book, they did determine to pull it from the shelves because upon further investigation, they realized that Roe v. Wade was outdated. The information in the book of Roe v. Wade was outdated, and they felt that the methods of birth controls presented were not relevant. So they decided to pull that book because there wasn't an updated version. Correct. They did not remove it because of the explicit images in it. It was because they felt like Roe v. Wade was not accurately portrayed with the most recent ruling. So I specifically asked, I recorded the conversation in the state of Texas. I'm allowed to do that. And I went back just to double check my words. And I said to her, I said, so are you telling me that the Decatur Public Library is prioritizing Roe v. Wade accuracy versus our children viewing pornography? And she said, yes. Period. There was no, oh, that's a stretch, Lia, or oh, it's not pornography. It was yes, period. Yes, period. So Kim from the Texan contacted us, and we shared the recording with her. We shared everything that we had. They wrote a wonderful article. So the next step of the library process was to contest it, which I did. I wrote a letter. In my letter, I can post it somewhere, but I talked about, just out of curiosity, I started looking up classics for Decatur Public Library. Our library doesn't even have the classic Where the Red Fern Grows. It's like a classic that every child should probably read. We don't have that, but we have how to use, again, I don't want to be inappropriate because there's children in the room, but let's just say this book teaches children all sorts of things that no child has business looking at with graphics. So the next step was to contest what she said, which I did. I delivered the letter today, but unfortunately, due to the library regulations, she gets to put the board together. It's at her discretion, and so we know how that's going to go. So Tiffany and I, the other mom, we went to city council. We set up a meeting, we put together a presentation. We spent several hours putting together this presentation. We were told we were gonna have 10 minutes, we could present it, and so that was kind of our plan B, was just to go over her head and go straight to the city. Well, about 30 minutes before I arrived here, I got a phone call that we were taken off the agenda. So we were off the agenda, and the mayor wants to have a private meeting with Tiffany, the other mom, and myself. So Mike is going to come with me, wherever Mike is. Thank you, Mike. I didn't mean to put you on the spot. But he's going to come with us. And so we're going to go that route. And then, so if anyone has any insight, Mama Bear is awake, and I'm not going to stop. So I'm going to keep going. But please continue to support. Please, when you go to the library, say something. Say that this is not okay. We have the one book in a Dropbox. I would encourage you to look at it. You need to know. You need to know what the library is putting out to our children. And at one point, I was tired, and Chad, I have to thank you, because I was just like, I don't want to do this anymore. I just want to be a mom and do Play-Doh with my kids. And Chad said, if we stop and we allow this, then the next thing it's going to be is we're going to have the drag shows at the library, and we're going to have books on how to have sex with animals next. And it's just, when do we stop? So I'm not going to fight. So thank you for breathing that into me. And so please continue to support us. I don't have the answers, but if anyone does, please come tell me. It's Monday night, but we're now off the agenda. We can have public, So we're going to try to meet with him on Monday before that. We're going to try to get this meeting as quickly as possible so we can see what his agenda is. My hope is that maybe he's just going to be like, hey, I don't want to publicize this, but let's just pull the books out. That's my hope. But I think the real issue, Chad, is there's no accountability. That's what this has taught me. The library, there's no accountability. It's what she wants. It's her agenda. And I put that in my letter to her. I said, you have a second chance to revisit this, and let's make this balanced instead of biased. Let's have some checks and balances. Is the parents complaining? Why am I not on that board to share my views on why this book is not appropriate in our library? Right. 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 Yes. Yeah, and you can sign. Do you know how early we have to get there? I know we only have 3 minutes, but do you know how early we have to get there to sign up to speak? Okay. Okay. And if I get any answers before then, I'll post in the Wise County Conservative group. I just found this out like 30 minutes before I got here. So it's at City Hall. It's at City Hall. I can post the address, but it's right by the post office on the east side of the building. But the mayor was the one that canceled it. Per him, he canceled us. No, it was Mike McQuiston. Yep. Mm-hmm. Yes, I'm sorry. Yes. Yeah, no, so I completely agree with that. The problem is that if we take them out of circulation, it sends the message that these books are wanted, we need to order more. So while we will do that. Yeah, we can keep checking them out, but then they're just going to increase the volume of these types of books because that sends the message.
It's part of the network of libraries. So even if we check it out, you go online, you go in the system, and it'll come from Springtown.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely gets it off the shelf, and we've had that thought. And I even asked Dawn at one point. I guess there's been a lot of people that just steal the books and they don't ever return them. And I said, well, I understand why. But yeah, it was very clear. Something shifted in her. She originally was very scared, and she kept saying to me, she's like, Leah, just fill out the form. We have to do the process. The squeakiest wheel usually always gets their way. And then I think someone got in her ear. I'm imagining the pronoun people got in her ear. So I am free woman. That is my pronoun.